Okay, welcome to the deep dive.
Great to be here.
We're diving headfirst today into some really fascinating source material, all centering on one pretty dynamic and I think critically important area of your brain,
That's right.
the ventral striatum.
Exactly. And based on the articles and research you've shared, our mission today is to really unpack what this region does.
Right.
And crucially, why understanding it gives us such a powerful sort of shortcut to understanding core human behaviors.
Like what sort of behaviors?
Well, everything from, chasing goals, how we navigate social worlds, and even grappling with really tough challenges like addiction.
Okay, so let's jump right in then. Forget the dry textbook definitions for a minute.
Good idea.
Think of the ventral striatum more like
Oh,
your brain's central evaluation and action hub. Does that sound right?
that's a great way to put it. Yeah, it's constantly figuring out how good or bad things feel, assessing their potential value, and then helping decide what you should actually do about it.
Gotcha.
At its core, this area, and it prominently features the nucleus accumbens, which people might have heard of.
Right, the nucleus accumbens.
It sits at this really critical junction. It's a key node in what's called the mesolimbic dopamine pathway.
Dopamine. We hear so much about that.
Exactly. You can think of this pathway as like the brain's main information highway for sending signals about potential reward and salience, what's important.
So, okay, it's not just about getting a reward then. It's more the anticipation, the signal that something might be rewarding.
Precisely. That's a key insight. The ventral striatum is integral to processing the value of predicted outcomes,
Predicted. Okay.
both the good stuff, the appetitive things we want and seek out, and the aversive ones, the things we really want to avoid. It's constantly running that calculation. Is this worth pursuing? Or should I steer clear?
And that calculation, that evaluation that directly fuels our motivation, is that the link?
Absolutely. By assigning this value, it directly influences the intensity, the persistence of our goal-directed actions. Research points to this region being key for what some call behavioral vigor.
Behavioral vigor.
Literally how much energy and effort you're willing to pump into chasing something. How badly you want it, based on that value calculation.
Wow, that's powerful connection.
Yeah.
So if it's evaluating personal rewards and costs, how does that same mechanism work when we interact with other people? The rewards there seem much more complex, right? Social rewards.
Yeah, and what's fascinating is how this same basic reward processing circuitry gets recruited for social interaction.
How so?
The sources show it helps us predict social rewards, things like acceptance, cooperation, maybe even just positive attention.
Okay.
And it helps us navigate social cues. It plays a really significant role in social learning, guiding decisions about who to interact with and how, all based on those anticipated social outcomes.
Okay, now here's where it seems to get really intense and unfortunately pretty central to some difficult topics. Our sources really emphasized its absolutely critical role in drug addiction.
Yeah. Tragically, this region is central, not just for the initial rewarding effects of drugs, which is part of it,
Right.
but maybe more enduringly, it's key in establishing that powerful reinforcement, the craving, that drives habitual drug seeking.
So it hijacks the system.
It essentially hijacks this natural reward evaluation system. That's a very good way to think about it.
And is this all tangled up with how we feel generally? Our emotions?
Oh, completely. It's tightly coupled with emotion regulation. It links our affective states, basically, our feelings directly to behavioral outcomes and learning.
So how you feel about something that happened influences what you'll do next time.
Exactly. How you felt about a past experience directly shapes what you're motivated to do, or perhaps avoid, in the future. And the ventral striatum is a core piece of that entire circuit.
It sounds like it's juggling so much information. How does it manage to pull all these different threads together?
Well, that's where its broad connectivity really comes into play.
Oh,
It's getting input from all over the place. Areas like the prefrontal cortex, that's for decision-making and planning.
right.
The amygdala for emotion. The hippocampus, crucial for memory. The thalamus, bringing in sensory information.
Wow.
So it integrates cognitive plans, emotional responses, memories, sensory details, all to guide motivated behavior based on that perceived value we talked about.
So it's not just one big blob then.
Yeah.
It has distinct parts.
No, exactly. The sources often point to distinct functional subregions, commonly called the shell and the core.
Shell and core.
Oh!
What's the difference?
Well, they definitely work together, but the shell seems maybe more tuned into detecting potential value, that initial motivational drive. It might respond more to novelty or possibility.
Kind of like the alert system.
Sort of like, hey, something potentially good or important is happening. Then the core seems more involved in translating that initial motivation into specific actions, into established goal-directed behaviors.
So the core is more the, okay, let's do this part.
Maybe more the, okay, how do I make sure that happens, or how do I execute the plan? It's a bit simplified, but gives you the idea.
Got it. And connecting back to habits, why we keep doing things, sometimes almost automatically. The sources mentioned habitual seeking and value memory.
Right. This region is fundamental for supporting the maintenance of stable value representations. Basically, memories of what's been valuable before. It helps us build an expectancy of reward linked to certain actions or cues in our environment.
And that's key to forming habits.
Absolutely fundamental. We continue seeking out things that have proven valuable in the past, sometimes even if the immediate motivation or the actual reward isn't quite as strong anymore. The ventral striatum sort of remembers and anticipates that learned value.
Wow. Okay, so let's try to quickly recap here. The ventral striatum is this incredible hub, vital for evaluating what's valuable to us, driving our motivation, our effort,
Right.
shaping our social decisions, deeply involved in emotion and learning, tragically hijacked in addiction. Integrates signals from all over the brain through its connected parts like the shell and the core.
You got it.
And it underpins how we form these value memories and habits.
It's really where wanting meets doing, a crucial interface.
So here's a final thought, something for you, our listener, to chew on.
Okay.
Given everything we've just talked about, the ventral striatum's profound role in linking what feels rewarding to the actions you actually take, how might understanding this specific brain region maybe change the way you think about things? You know, like setting goals or trying to break unwanted habits, or maybe even just recognizing and appreciating the sources of joy and motivation in your own everyday life. Something to ponder.